Elon Musk has been called a mad genius and a Twitter troll, but he is better known for his unique inventions than for his small fights, warnings about the future, or bringing down big names. But Elon didn't let that stop him from telling the world recently about what could happen if the Euphrates River dries up. People have been searching Google a lot about the Euphrates lately because it is one of the most important rivers in the world. Why is that so interesting? The Bible says that the end of the world will come when the Euphrates dries up. What does Elon Musk mean when he says, "Be careful"? How does the rest of the world see the Euphrates? In today's video, we'll find out. Elon Musk keeps warning people about upcoming threats and dangers. He told us this time that the Euphrates might dry up. People say that when the tide goes up, all the houses float, so this could affect the whole world. The river Euphrates is a natural landmark that shows where an important time in history happened. We're trying to show you how his facts match up with things that happened in the Bible, so you can see that all of this research has already been done. Don't be surprised, this is the truth, so let's get into it. Since Jesus Christ said that only God knows when the second coming will happen and that a new generation will be born, preachers and people who call themselves doomsayers have been predicting when it will happen. God's final judgment is coming soon, probably in our lifetime, so get ready. In the past few weeks, prophets have given us a new reason to think the end of the world is coming. People have argued very strongly about prophecy on websites, in Bible study groups, and in churches. But why do they all look so scared? What exactly is the reason? We have to tell you a scary story about the Euphrates River so you can understand this. Many cultures have grown and thrived along the Euphrates, especially in the past. One of the most important groups of people in the area was the Mesopotamian Kingdom. Mesopotamia was once in the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Right now, that part of the world is in Iraq. The river is the longest in Western Asia at 1,740 miles. It begins in the east of Turkey and goes all the way to the Persian Gulf. On its way, it goes through Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. The river Euphrates flows through a lot of different kinds of plants. People have changed most of the land around the Euphrates over thousands of years, but some old plants still live there. Most of the water in the Euphrates comes from rain and melting snow, which is why its highest flows are in April and May. Most likely you already know what Babylon is. This section of the river used to be a good example of how the river moved water. Babylon was the capital of the huge Babylonian Empire. More than 4,000 years ago, the city started out as a small harbor on the Euphrates River. Now it is in Iraq. What's left of it can be found there. Babylon became one of the most powerful cities of its time when Hammurabi was in charge. Southwest Asia's borders changed when the Treaty of Lausanne was signed in 1923. This was done when the Ottoman Empire was broken up after World War I. The treaty said that the three countries along the Euphrates, Turkey at the time, France for its mandate in Syria, and the United Kingdom for its mandate in Iraq, had to agree on how to use the river's water and build any hydraulic infrastructure. The deal from 1946 said that Turkey had to tell Iraq if the flow of the Tigris-Euphrates river system changed, and Iraq was allowed to build dams on Turkish land to control the flow of the Euphrates. In the 1970s, Turkey started the Southeastern Anatolia Project, or GAP. This was a bold plan to use the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates for irrigation and hydroelectricity production, as well as to boost the economy in the southeast of the country. The first dams on the Euphrates in Turkey and Syria were the Kaban Dam and the Tabqa Dam. Both of them were made in the same year. In 1975, the pond was filled. At the same time, there was a very bad drought in the area, and the amount of water flowing into Iraq from rivers dropped from 159 cubic kilometers in 1973 to 4 cubic kilometers in 1975. Iraq said that it would bomb the Tabqa Dam because of this, which caused a problem on the world stage. Iraq and Syria finally came to an agreement through talks after Saudi Arabia and the Soviet Union got involved. The building of dams and irrigation systems on the Euphrates has had a huge effect on the environment and culture of each country along its banks. Since then, dams built to fill in the gap between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers have destroyed 382 villages, forcing about 200,000 people to move. But in recent years, The river's water level has dropped to a dangerously low level. The amount of water going from Turkey into Syria is less than 200 cubic meters per second, which is less than half of what the two countries agreed to in 1987. Recent pictures taken along the banks of the Euphrates show that a large part of the river has dried up. These places were once very important to the people who lived there, but now they are deserts. Images of the second largest dam on the Euphrates River in Syria, the Rojava Dam, show that the river's water level has dropped a lot. Because Turkey has been using the Euphrates as a weapon against Syria for years, it has stopped the flow of water into Iraq and Syria. In 1987, the governments of Damascus and Ankara made a deal that says Turkey has to send 500 cubic meters of water per second to Syria. On the other hand, the invading country isn't keeping its end of the deal and is only giving 200 cubic meters of water per second. On the land, it's easy to see how low the water levels are. Because of the lack of water, the water levels in Syria's dam lakes have dropped, as have the area's electricity production and supply. Also, there is less land along the Euphrates that can be used for farming. Most importantly, getting clean water to drink is getting harder and harder. People are very sick because of what is going on. The independent government of North and East Syria warned that the Turkish government's plan to lower the level of the Euphrates River would cause humanitarian crises and put the lives of 9 million Syrians who live along the river at risk. The people in charge of the dams in North and East Syria have asked human rights groups and the rest of the world to stop what Turkey is doing. But people are worried about how quickly the old river is going away. Geologists are also worried about the water levels dropping, which makes it hard for them to figure out what is causing this scary problem. The UN has also warned that heat waves will get worse in the Mediterranean area. Lake Assad is getting worse because of this cycle, and according to the World Climate Danger Index, Syria is one of the most at-risk countries. People have thought this has something to do with the book of Revelation in the Bible, because there aren't many good reasons why the river is drying up. Fewer people are surprised by the change because they think it will happen because it's in the Bible. The thing that scares people the most is that the Bible's prediction of the end of the world is happening right in front of their eyes. Many people think that important parts of the book of Revelation show that Iraq will be important when the world ends. In chapter 16 of the book of Revelation, the Euphrates River is talked about. The sixth angel poured his bowl on the great river, the Euphrates. Its water was taken away so that the way could be cleared for the kings from the east. The sixth angel poured his bowl into the Euphrates River according to this Bible verse. Because of what was in the bowl, the river dried up. Most of the world's water has been lost or made dirty by bowl judgments in the past. This choice has nothing to do with making the water worse or keeping people from using it. Instead, it seems to be about tearing down a defensive wall so that the kings from the east can attack. The Bible says 5 times that the Euphrates is the great river. It showed where Israel's land ended to the east. Israel was safe because it was hard to cross the river and there was a desert between them and Canaan, the promised land, to the west. It goes more than 2,000 miles towards Palestine before turning southeast and heading towards the Persian Gulf. In the 1st century, when the Revelation was written, the Euphrates River separated the west from the east. The kingdoms of China and India were to the east of it. A long time ago, Cyrus of Persia's army took over Babylon by changing the path of the Euphrates River, which ran through the city. Because the stream was dry, they were able to march into Babylon and take it over. During the Great Tribulation, an enemy from the east will cross the Euphrates, march through Babylon, and then enter Palestine. In Revelation 9:14, God tells the 6th angel with the trumpet, "Let go of the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." Just what does this mean? Exodus 27:2 says that John hears this voice coming from the 4 horns of the brass altar. The voice tells the 6th angel with the bell to set free the 4 angels who are being held at the Euphrates, which used to be the border between Israel and Assyria. In Revelation, we are reminded that God is in charge of everything, whether He lets it happen or makes it happen. In the end times, evil will never be able to get away with anything. We know they are demons because it says they are bound. Demons are angels who have fallen from heaven. They often live in chains of gloomy darkness. People know that sin has something to do with the Euphrates Valley, where these 4 angels are being held captive. Most likely, the first murder happened near the Garden of Eden in the Euphrates Valley. Recently, it was said that strange voices come from the bottom of a river that is drying up. This could be a way to show that this path is safe. This makes it easier for people to think that the current events are a sign that Christ will come back to defeat his enemies and set up his heavenly kingdom. The Watchers meeting was recently held at Uma by Joseph Kabuleta, who is the pastor of Watchman Ministries. There, he told the people of Uganda to watch for the end of the world. Joseph Kabuleta said at the 2022 Watchers meeting on September 17, "We're here today to tell you things that will shock you. He did what I said. He made sense of the confusing Bible prophecies and showed that many of the Bible's predictions about the end of the world have already happened. One of the most recent predictions about the end of the world that has come true is that the Dead Sea will come back to life. The Dead Sea has no sea life, plants, or animals. It is also known as the saltiest sea on earth. But in Ezekiel 47, God told the prophet Ezekiel that the water would be clean again and that living things could live in it. In 2016, freshwater fish ponds were found along its banks, proving that this prediction was correct. Kabuleta gave more information about the terrible battle that Ezekiel 38 and Revelation 9 say will happen near the Euphrates River in the last days. The Bible says that 200 million people from Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Iran, as well as Gog and Magog, Russia, China, and the former Soviet Union, will fight together against Israel. Kabuleta says that if a 200 million person army takes over Israel, Israel will have to use nuclear weapons or risk being wiped off the face of the earth. According to Revelation 16:12, the Euphrates River will dry up, making it easy for soldiers to move around during this battle. The river dried up this year, which also made this prediction come true. If nothing is done, experts say the river will be gone for good by the year 2040. Because the war has caused damage that has never been seen before, the whole world will help the warring sides make a temporary peace deal. Kabuleta says that this is why Daniel 9:27's promise of peace for 7 years will be signed. The Bible says that after 7 years, people will no longer be in charge and Jesus will return. People have started talking about how worried they are and how they never thought the new information would make sense. The most likely explanation for the river comes from the Bible. But other ideas say that what is going on along the Euphrates is related to political goals and climate change. Are the predictions coming true, or is the river drying up because of climate change? Even though Elon Musk doesn't believe much in God, he hasn't said anything just because these things are happening. Instead, he has backed up what he has said with the study he has done on this river and the scientific information he has. What do you think? Tell us in the comments below, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel.